I'm Ed Kelley, editor of the Oklahoman. The automakers went to Washington and were told no, at least for now. What happened and what's next? Well, to answer those questions are our DC All-Stars, Chris Castile, chief of the Oklahoman's Washington Bureau, and Mark Green, national editorial writer for the Oklahoman. Both men are frequent contributors here on News OK TV. Okay, gentlemen, as you know, Congress was lobbied very hard by the auto industry and to a certain degree the White House to approve a short-term bailout package, but it failed to pass. Was there an overriding reason or two that it doomed it?
Well, Ed, I think there were reasons big and small that it didn't get enough support in the Senate to pass yesterday. I mean, there were negotiations late last night on a proposal by Senator Bob Corker from Tennessee that broke down over apparently mainly labor issues. There was a restructuring demands in that proposal that would have required the companies to pay off a large amount of their debt, and also for the workers for these American companies, GM, to get their salaries in line with those of the Japanese car builders in America. And there was apparently a refusal by the UAW to agree to a date certain in calendar year 2009 to get those salaries in line. They wanted to wait until 2011 when the current contract expires. But you know, also what you have is what's been referred to up here as bailout fatigue, of course. And you know, you have a lot of conservative Republicans who just don't think that the government needs to be in the business of managing the car industry at this point and giving them money that might not ever be paid back.
Right. I think that's a big factor. The last thing that Chris mentioned, the bailout fatigue. I think there's been a lot of Republicans all year long who've had heartburn about the government intervening in private markets and private businesses to prop them up or bail them out. And there always just seems to be someone else there at the door with the handout, and I think they drew the line at the automakers, and especially, as Chris mentioned, the convenience of the UAW not being willing to say that they will grant concessions on a date certain was the straw that broke the proverbial camel's back.
Not that there was any guarantee, at least that I've been able to understand, that there was going to be enough votes to pass it, even if they had. I mean, that's not clear. Right. I mean, the talks broke down over that, but they may not have even gotten the votes with that.
I see. Now, the Treasury Department said today that it's prepared to step in to keep the automakers from going under. But will Congress be asked again early in the Obama administration, beginning next month, to provide a similar kind of package that it rejected just last night?
Well, I think there's really a lot going on with that notion of going into the TARP fund, the financial rescue plan that was approved earlier this year, the $700 billion pot of money. The Bush administration has been saying all along they would not, the fund was not created for the purpose of bailing out the automakers or other businesses, just strictly limited to the financial sector. And now they're talking about maybe going back on. There's going to be a lot of political hell to pay if they indeed do that, especially in the Republican Party. But the president has limited influence even in his own party these days, so it'll be interesting to see where that happens. And I would say, as far as next year goes, I would say almost certainly they'll be back with an Obama administration and a stronger Democratic hand in Congress.
You know, I think the Bush administration probably will take the first step in trying to help these car makers over the next few days, maybe even today. The White House press secretary said today that given this economy, it's just not wise for them to let these car companies go into bankruptcy right now because of the ripple effect. President-elect Barack Obama has really not played any role in this up here, and although he has expressed support for a bailout. And next year, I mean, it'll be a whole different set of arguments about where the money comes from, but I think obviously this debate's going to continue when he takes office.
Okay, Mark, Chris, thank you. Well done. Stay here on News OK for more coverage of this continuing issue.